Welcome to Tomorrow Ready, quick LTC insights from JMA, a series where we provide you, employee benefits professionals, with news, tools, and views about group long-term care insurance planning.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tomorrow Ready. I'm Yvette Garzone. I'm here with Steve Kane. Let's hop right into it. So, Steve, we work with several carriers, and I know some recent news came out about Unum. So let's just hop in and what's happening with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a surprise, or maybe it is a little bit of a surprise, but Unum has decided that they will no longer accept new hires on their existing groups. Something that other carriers did years and years ago. They kind of sealed off the entire group completely. But for years, Unum continued to allow new hires add to these groups, and finally they just said, "Hey, we're done." And so in October, they pushed out communication to brokers and to employers saying, come February 1 of 26, which is right around the corner, we're no longer going to accept new hires. So, they were the last one, to continue to allow new hires, and now they just said no more.
What brought about this change, though?
I don't know. I mean, long-term care is a tough business. It's capital intense. It might not have same ROI as other lines of business if it's not priced properly. And Unum at the time when they were putting in all these plans, they were a market leader. They wrote a ton of this stuff, and they probably underpriced it just like everybody else. So there were significant rate increases that the block experienced, and companies make strategic decisions. And new leadership came in, and they reviewed the contracts, and they felt like they had the legal right and ability to seal off these plans completely. So again, we saw other companies do it. Unum just didn't until now. So it happens.
Any smaller details that employers need to be aware of if they have a policy currently?
I think it's like more of the same. If they have the same administrative duties and responsibilities like billing, reporting terminations, employee communications, implementing future rate increases, those are expected to continue. So it's kind of more of the same. They're just not accepting any new hires.
All right. So seems pretty straightforward and simple. So, but Steve, I don't know about you, but I'm getting swamped with Unum
Yeah.
inquiries, small and large. So what should employers and our broker partners be doing right now?
Well, if I'm a broker right now, I'm probably just giving my client a hug, figuratively. I'm telling them, they made a good decision helping their employees plan for long-term care, whether they funded it or not. They did the right thing back then. And again, I'm sure they did their due diligence and determined that Unum was the optimal solution at the time. So I think first and foremost, reinforce good decisions. People who have this coverage, it's good coverage. Unum is going to pay claims. They've done an excellent job thus far, and they just executed a very large reinsurance transaction, over $3.4 billion. So they're staking their flag in the ground saying, we're here, we're going to pay these claims. And so I feel comfortable with that. But as it relates to like what's next, what do we do? I still believe in long-term care as an employer, as a broker. There's just a few options. Option number one is do nothing. Right? You can't add on more bodies. The employer is going to administer these plans. Unum's going to pay a claim at some point. That's option number one. Option number two, depending on the size of the group, is implement a new long-term care program using a worksite life plus long-term care solution. And again, depending on the size of the employer, I think that might make sense. And frankly, because Unum has just been adding on new hires, it might be 10 years ago, it might be 8 years ago or longer since the employer did a full-on robust marketing strategy or campaign around long-term care. So I look at this as like a new group, new opportunity with a different set of products, not a traditional product, but one that combines life insurance. That might be very attractive to an employer and certainly employees. Option number three is they did a lot of employer funding, right? A lot of base plans with buy-ups. And if you want to replicate those programs, we could do that today. We went out and talked to our carrier partners on the life with long-term care platforms or those underlying product structures, and they said, yes, we could do this. We like those cases. Depends. It's going to be negotiable in terms of the funding. They want to make sure they get their spread of risk too. But we can replicate those programs. So I would say, get those censuses to us. Tell us a little bit about the programs so we can do it. And then the last option, and probably not the best option, but it is an option, is if it was a voluntary program and you've just been adding on one and one and one and one, that's not big enough for a group, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you can look to individual retail coverage, kind of a buying service or marketplace approach where, employees can talk with a licensed salaried person who can guide them through a long-term care purchase if they're interested in doing so. So those are our four options. Do nothing. Do a new plan, replicate the old plan, or do a marketplace approach where you add on one body at a time.
Okay, so Steve, here are my key takeaways, right? I'm always taking my notes. February 1st, 2026, Unum is sealing off their in-force plans and not allowing any additional new hires to secure coverage. It's business as usual if you currently do have a Unum plan, and Unum has significant reserves to pay future claims. And if you're just lost and not really sure what to do, brokers should just reach out to Jay Manning to discuss some client options for new coverage. Did I miss
Absolutely.
anything?
You nailed it. That's what I do. And again, these inquiries are coming at us fast and furious. As it relates to like the timing on something, do I need to implement a program before February 1st? No. You're okay. We know it's open enrollment season and you're swamped. So we're starting these conversations now. We expect them to go into 26 and beyond.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it, honestly. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
If you would like to reach out to us, you can email us below, and we will see you next time on Tomorrow Ready.